That night, Monica couldn't sleep. Her mind kept circling back to Ben and what she had seen in the rain. There was something about him, something magnetic, that she couldn't shake off. Ben lived in the quiet town of Coteau. He was known for his handsome looks, kind nature, and unwavering work ethic. Life hadn't been kind to him though. After finishing secondary school in his village, Ben couldn't afford to attend university. Years later, he moved to the city and started a humble laundry business. Every day, he would rise early, collecting dirty clothes from his customers and returning them freshly washed, dried, and ironed. Despite his hardships, Ben had something, or rather, someone who kept him grounded, his girlfriend, Ruth. They had been together since their school days, and her love was his greatest comfort. Every night, no matter how exhausting the day had been, Ben would call Ruth, her sweet voice reminding him of all they had dreamed about, a future together, a home built on love. One day, with hope in his heart, Ben asked Ruth to move to the city with him. He believed they could create a better life together there. Ruth agreed, eager to start this new chapter of their journey. It wasn't much, but waking up next to Ruth, seeing her face every morning, made Ben feel like the luckiest man alive. They promised to wait until marriage to be intimate, and even without physical closeness, their bond was unbreakable. Life seemed perfect, but as fate would have it, their happiness was about to be tested. One rainy afternoon, Ben was running late. He had promised to deliver freshly cleaned clothes to one of his most important clients, Madame Monica. She was a woman of status, married to one of the wealthiest men in the country, but her wealth didn't bring her happiness. Her husband was rarely home, always away on business, leaving her feeling lonely and neglected. As Ben rushed through the pouring rain, soaked to the bone, he finally arrived at Monica's mansion, just minutes past the deadline. He apologized, explaining the rain had slowed him down. But Monica barely listened. Her eyes lingered on Ben, his wet clothes clinging to his muscular frame. Something stirred within her, something she knew was wrong but couldn't ignore. That night, Monica couldn't get Ben out of her mind. Her thoughts were consumed by the image of him standing in the rain. The next day, she confided in her friend, Lena. Monica admitted that she felt an attraction to Ben despite being married. Lena, also married but living separately from her husband for years, advised Monica against pursuing these feelings. "We made vows," Lena reminded her, but Monica's loneliness only deepened. The following evening, Monica arrived at Ben's shop with a proposition. She asked him to accompany her, offering a special job that required home service. Eager to please, Ben agreed and got into her car, but as they drove, Ben realized they weren't headed to her house. "Where are we going?" he asked, confused. "To my hotel," Monica replied, her voice soft yet suggestive. Inside the hotel room, Monica's intentions became clear. She undressed, revealing her desires to Ben. Shocked, Ben backed away. "I have a girlfriend," he protested. "And I have a husband," Monica replied. "But he's never here. I'm lonely." She offered Ben a large sum of money, more than he had ever seen, but despite his struggles, Ben ran, refusing to betray Ruth. However, when Ben returned home, he was met with more hardship. Ruth was sitting outside their apartment, crying. They had been evicted, 3 months behind on rent. Ben's heart sank. He had no money, no solution, and nowhere else to turn. That night, as he lay in bed, Ben couldn't stop thinking about Monica's offer. Desperate, with no other options, he made a decision that would change his life forever. He called Monica. The next morning, Ben met her at the hotel, accepting her money with a heavy heart. Although the shame weighed on him, it provided the means to pay their rent and keep a roof over their heads. Ruth was relieved, but sensed something was off. Ben, once a man of integrity, was changing, and as weeks passed, this change only deepened. Ben's new life as the secret lover of Monica, and soon Lena began to unravel him. The money and gifts flowed, but it came at the cost of his principles, his dignity, and eventually his love. Ruth, realizing Ben was no longer the man she once loved, left him. She found solace in a new man, Eric, who offered her the stability and honesty Ben had forsaken. Meanwhile, Ben's downfall was inevitable. One day, Monica's husband discovered the affair, and Ben found himself face to face with a brutal confrontation. Beaten and humiliated, he was left with nothing. All the wealth he had accumulated through his dishonesty was stripped away, leaving him broken. In the end, Ben returned to the empty shell of his old life, realising too late the cost of his actions. He had lost everything: his business, his love, and most of all himself. This is a story of temptation, betrayal, and the devastating consequences of poor choices. Let it serve as a reminder that no amount of wealth or desire is worth losing the things that truly matter. Thank you for joining Jum's journey and experiencing the power of acceptance and resilience with us. If you found her story inspiring, please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Stay tuned for more captivating tales ahead. Until next time, farewell.